Good morning, afternoon, and evening, friends. It's Friday, July 11th. Werty here to talk a little bit about relationships and some of my recent musings on them, while you all enjoy this lovely video I took of dogs and folks at the park a few days ago. So for context, I'm polyamorous, which means that I'm open to multiple romantic connections with different people as long as there's openness, communication, mutual agreement, honesty, boundaries, and all of the other good things that come along with that. In the last year, I've really taken that poly lens and used it to better understand not just romantic connections, but my relationships to really all the folks I interact with. Thinking about my relationships within this poly paradigm and extending that through all of the people that I have relationships with really means in practice is that I've been thinking about relationships not as labels and boxes, so not really like friends, partners, or lovers, but mostly thinking about all of my relationships as on a spectrum. You know, I have different levels of intimacy with different types of people, whether that's emotional intimacy, physical intimacy, romantic, intellectual, spiritual, or others. Different connections bring different levels of intimacy along these different axes, and they will often, for me, blur the lines between what others might call a friend and a partner. You know, some folks I might be more physically intimate with, while other people I'm more emotionally vulnerable with. And neither of those people really need to be labeled as a partner or a friend or what have you, but just a person in my life that I have a connection with that brings me something specific. It's been both really helpful and eye-opening to think about all of my relationships in this way, because it has allowed me to see the people in my life as important to me in those different ways. Now, I've been poly for quite a few years, but I've really only started to bring this lens into non-romantic connections within the last year. I was in part set down this road after thinking very deeply about labels and meanings after a conversation I had last summer with my best friend. Now, we were going to talk about whether we should change our label from best friend into something more akin to like a queer platonic relationship, or QPR. And coming out of the conversation, my friend was saying, well, I agree that our relationship is more akin to QPR in terms of how we feel about each other and the strength of our connection, but why would we need to change our label? Why can't best friends just encompass what we already have? And that thought really stuck with me. The fact that friendship should be able to encompass all sorts of different things. You know, labels are labels for our own uses, and for me, more and more, I've felt a freedom in shedding certain labels and letting many of my connections be blurry between friends and partners and family. It's been really helpful for me to extend this poly lens of openness, communication, and mutual understanding throughout all of my relationships. And not just for me, but for others in my life too. Understanding different needs from different people and what different people might want from me. I think it's a beautiful way to look at the world. What do you all think? Do you agree to some extent? Let me know in the comments or on the Discord. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to be awesome, y'all.